Hello and welcome to Just Figures. Today we're going to be looking at the Marvel Legends Deadpool. Stay tuned. So here we have the Marvel Legends Deadpool from the Juggernaut Build-A-Figure line. Now this figure can be pretty hard to get a hold of for retail price. And that's because, well, obviously he's Deadpool. Luckily, though, if you are patient, you will be able to snag this guy for a 20 crisp $20 bill. If we take a look at the packaging, we get a nice window that displays our figure and all the accessories he comes with. On the side, we get some nice artwork of Deadpool. On the back here, we get a nice picture of the figure included in the box, along with a comic Deadpool in a waiter outfit serving a taco, saying, "I date me," and a bunch of other stuff in Spanish. And down here at the bottom, you can see the other figures in the line, along with the Build-A-Figure Juggernaut. Now, one little cool touch that I do like is the little hearts and arrow drawn onto the Deadpool figure, letting you know he left his mark. Alright, so without further ado, let's get into it. And so here we have the figure out of packaging, and first impressions so far, he looks pretty awesome. The paint details on this figure are pretty amazing, at least on the body part. We have this nice red and black that complement each other, as well as some furnishings of silver across his body on these tabs, as well as his belt buckles. The one thing I feel this figure is missing, however, is a little wash over the figure, a little black wash to highlight the muscles, and ripples in the clothing would be nice. But overall, I would have to say the sculpt of this figure and everything else is pretty amazing. As far as his attachments and holsters go, however, there is a definite lack of paint applications on them. His belt is actually the only piece in here that has any paint applications, with just a solid green, as well as a pretty well done emblem on his belt. However, everything else is just molded and in a single colored brown plastic, and it really doesn't bring out a lot of the sculpted on detail that I feel like it should. And it could be remedied with a nice black wash along this pieces, these holsters. A nice little black wash would bring out a lot of the detail, along with the straps. There's little buckles and hoops and stuff that you can't really see. One of the first things I noticed with this figure, however, is he kind of has a lot of QC issues. I'm not sure if this is normal for Marvel Legends, as I don't really buy into the series a whole lot, but there's a lot of, paint rubbing off in certain areas, especially like on the back here. You can just see where there's like black and casting runoffs, and there's spots of red paint missing. And especially down here in the thigh, you can't really see it on camera, but it's almost as if a lot of the paint has rubbed away. The figure hits pretty spot on in the sculpt, but falls a little bit short in both the paint applications and quality control issues area. Now, quality control can vary from person to person, and your figure may be completely spotless, but I'm just basing this off what I got, and there are some noticeable paint problems with the figure. Now let's move on to articulation. If you're familiar with Marvel Legends, then you're going to be pretty familiar with all of the articulation that this figure has. Starting at the head, we have a hinge with a ball joint, which allows a great array of movement looking downwards as well as upwards. His elbows are a hinge and ball joint socket that's pretty clicky. It ratchets into place. There is a swivel at the bicep. His elbows are double jointed. Unfortunately, it's really like a rubbery plastic, and it feels like it's gonna break on me. I don't like that too much. His hands are a peg with a swivel. Like you can get a little bit of swivel and up and down wrist movement. He has a nice ab crunch that goes about that far forward and about that far backwards, and is kind of limited due to his sheaths, as well as a swivel at the waist. His thighs are on a ball joint which swings out that far sideways and this far up. That, I don't know, that's weird. That far back, I guess because of the molding of his touche. He has a upper thigh cut, a double jointed knee, as well as a ball hinged foot that can go up and down and has an ankle pivot. So that's it for articulation, and to sum up some thoughts, it's a pretty good range of movement. The only problem that I have is that the double jointed elbow and knee joints tend to be made of a weaker plastic that, if you aren't too rough with this, may cause some warping or even breakage issues. Next, we're going to be looking at his accessories, and boy, is this one of the highlights of this figure. See, instead of coming with a Build-A-Figure piece like the other figures in the wave did, he came with a boatload of accessories. Up first, we have his signature katanas that come with pretty much every Deadpool figure. The katanas simply slide into his sheaths, like so. Next up, he features two pistols. Got some pretty nice detail on them, I will say that, but they do lack any kind of paint. They are just a simple silver plastic. The first gun goes into his holster right here, and the second gun goes right here. He also includes a really cool looking railgun type weapon. Once again, it's molded in the same bluish, silvery plastic. Kind of wish they would have given some paint apps. He also includes a Tommy gun, once again molded in that same blue-grayish plastic. Up next is a knife with some, it's actually got some paint on this accessory. Also, I really like how it includes these little notches on it, as if it's been battle worn. Pretty cool. The knife slides into the sheath right here. The final weapon in Deadpool's arsenal is a bazooka with a punching glove on it for some weird reason, most likely because he's insane. But I really do like the look of this bazooka. I think it's got a lot of cool detail on it, and I love the addition of the punching bag. But if you don't like the addition of the punching bag, it is removable, and thus you can have a normal bazooka. The bazooka has a peg on the back, as well as a hole in the back of Deadpool over here that you can pop in and have it stored nicely on his back. Deadpool's best accessory, in my opinion, is this cool looking taco that he can hold in his hands. And for his final accessory, we get this really nicely detailed alternate head with Deadpool without his mask. And man, did they do a really cool job. Just the washes and the paint applications on this figure are amazing. The detail they got into these tiny, tiny teeth, so cool. And I love how they did the eyes. Changing Deadpool's head is simple. You pull it off, and then you place the alternate head on there. I really do believe that all these accessories add to this figure, making it a must-own for any Marvel Legends fan. The absurdity that comes with Deadpool eating a taco while holding his pinky finger out is the best thing that I could ever ask for, and pretty much makes this an amazing figure. All in all, I was kind of at first disappointed with this figure due to the quality control issues and some of the joints feeling flimsy. But when it came down to giving this figure his accessories and really getting him in the cool dynamic poses that you can, it really brought this figure to life, and I think it earned the merit as being one of the must-get Marvel Legends figures out there right now. This has been Just Figures with the Marvel Legends Deadpool from the Juggernaut's Build-A-Figure line. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned.